guys, welcome back to another great episode of Intentional Bonus Mom, and today we're going to talk about the 4th episode of Single Dad Seeking, and I have my trusty notes, and I have quite a list today. Alright, so first we're going to start with Valen, Mike, and Mikey. It's really cute at the beginning. Mikey asks Valen if she's nervous about the party, and then he asks his dad. And they both say no, but then when Mike gets on, like, where he's interviewing, he said they both were. He said, but of course we're not going to tell him that. He didn't need to know that. He just needs to be excited about the party. Then we find out, or I don't remember them telling us before, but we find out that Mikey's mom's name is Sarah. And so she is going to be there. He says she's kind of one of those people who just speaks whatever's on her mind, so he doesn't really know what to expect.
Or there'll probably be drama.
Yes. Okay, so their story continues with the ex. They get to the party. Valen says it seemed like it was a really rushed introduction, like a forceful introduction. It just didn't kind of go as, I don't know.
Not very friendly.
Yeah, and it wasn't just easy. And it's understandable. It's awkward no matter what. And then she starts to feel uncomfortable. She knows they're talking about her. She knows. And then you actually see the ex sitting there talking to her friend about Valen. And I felt really, really bad for Valen because it was like, that has to be uncomfortable. Not only are you in a new relationship with a little boy, you're meeting the ex, but then the ex is sitting here, doesn't even know you, but is sitting here talking about you. Like, I don't know. She did seem like one of those loose cannons. I feel like maybe the show represented her really well. But I don't know. But she's talking to the party, and she's sitting there. I mean, to me, it was very trashy. The way that she was talking about her was really, really trashy. And my thought went right to her was, why are you sitting here trashing somebody you don't even know? Talking to your friend at your son's birthday party when you have some kind of drink in your hand. I'm not saying it was alcohol or anything, but some kind of drink in your hand. You don't see your son on a regular basis. Why are you not up with him? Why are you not interacting in the party? I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Like, you have nothing to say about Valen if you're not up doing stuff with your kids. Or you could have easily walked over there and talked to her too. So don't sit there and get mad at her for not talking to you or anything if you can't do the same thing. It's like, there's no room to talk. So that's basically my whole spiel about that. I liked how Mike would go and check on Valen and see how she was doing and kind of just, that was really nice because he knew she felt awkward. He knew that this is an intense moment, situation, and you don't want to be there. And then Valen says at one point, she's like, I really didn't want to be there. And I can understand that. I mean, it's really, really awkward. I know for us.
There was also a scene where it shows Valen kind of talking to his other family members or cousins. Yeah. Stuff like that. So it seems like there's just at least somebody was interacting
with
and
her,
trying to make it where it's not that bad, because his family side of it didn't look too bad and stuff like that. It was just but again, that could be TLC portraying that as in, wanting to show the big pow to it. Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's an awkward situation.
It is.
All throughout. And my thought, too, is, like, you're on national TV. Do you really want to make a fool out of yourself like that?
Yeah.
To where you let them catch you talking like that?
And good deal on the dunk tank. I like that.
Yeah. But anyway, it looked like Mikey was having fun the whole time. Like, he didn't even really see what was going on. But I like how Mike also said he realized he was going to have to take her aside. And him and Sarah were going to have to talk. Because he needed Sarah to know that he was always going to have Valen's back. And really, at that point, really any partner's back. Because I was like, that is a true man. Like, he's standing up. He's doing something he needs to do. He needs to tell her, like, basically before any dramas get started. Because we all know as step-parents, drama, like, it comes about. Things happen and stuff. And so for someone to be like, I'm always going to have her back. You're not going to sit here and cause drama. Like, that is really, really important. And then I like the point where she was like, she's in my son's life. She needed to come up and okay, restart this. My camera died. Okay, so they're sitting on the porch. She's like, she's in my son's life. Then I should get to talk to her. I should be able to talk to her. And he says, like, that's not going to make this afternoon get any better. Like, that's not going to help the situation. Yeah. And then I realized, like, her friend was sitting there with them while they were having this conversation. And it was like, why are you sitting there? And I did like that there was a point where he told her, we need to talk alone. Can you please just leave? And she was like, okay, I can respect that. And she did. So that really helped too. And he did say that she looked like she was trying to start something.
Yeah, he's seen it brewing.
Yeah. And that's why he wanted to pull her aside. And then, and I understood both sides. I understand, like, if it was my child, yes, I would want to get to know the other person in my child's life. That would be very, very important to me. However, I understand his side of it too. Like, it's one afternoon. Like, that whole whatever drama you're trying to create is not going to help.
And trying to do it on your son's birthday party.
Yeah. And so I understand that. And then at the end, he said he felt like he had made a mistake. His heart was in the right place to have Valen there and Mikey's mom there because Mikey loves his mom. He wants to see his mom. He wants to, her to be a part of his life and his birthday. But maybe it wasn't the best decision. And then he says he understands that he can't control everybody. He can't control anybody.
Yeah.
And so I really like that. So that was pretty much most of Valen and Mike's time. Yeah. And I do understand it is awkward. Like, I mean, I know when I met the kid's mom, it was awkward. It's like, and I met them I met her at a birthday party. I met her at our Michael's birthday. I was like, well, that just got confusing. Our Michael's birthday party. Like, I mean, I met her there, and so that was like, okay. And then again, like, okay, you don't have any questions? Don't have anything to say? Okay, well, I did know we did a little different. Like, we had sent an email saying, hey, would you like to meet up with me if you'd like to have any questions? And it didn't seem to bother her, so then
doesn't care.
So we were just like, okay, if it doesn't bother you, if you don't seem to be worried about it, then okay. Okay, so the next dad, Jason, and Jason has the 2 teenagers where he was in a relationship with Mary Ellen for 6 or 7 years. I can't remember, 7 years. And then they broke up, but she was still very active in the children's lives. And this week we got some
nitty gritty.
Yeah, we got a lot of information, and I think poor Sarah did too. Okay, so they go out for dinner, and the waiter brings wine, I think, to the table.
Tasting test? Or...
Yeah, and she takes some, and then he realizes he needs to tell her the story. So he tells her that he had gotten arrested for a DUI, which led to the breakup of him and Mary Ellen, and that the kids had actually witnessed this arrest. Yeah. And he had gone into treatment. So, I mean, his alcoholism was pretty severe. And I think that's a huge thing that you really need to talk about. Even if you are sober, that needs to be something because the person needs to be made aware of that. To where they can, see, how are you doing? If you're starting to slip. And I think for her that was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, that was that moment.
And then that also explained why him and Mary Ellen broke up. Yeah. So that explained a lot. Okay. And then it also explained why she didn't abandon the kids either. Because they needed a lot of consistency and people there and to support them. And even though this happened, it doesn't change things. Okay, so then, because he says that, Sarah decides, okay, there's something I need to tell him. So she tells him she's bisexual. And does he have a problem with that? And he says, actually, he didn't. Mm-hmm. That he had dated bisexual women before, so that wasn't a big deal. Well, then here comes the hook, line, and sinker. She had never been in a long-term relationship with a guy before. She had never, she had never, or a serious relationship, however you look at it. Okay, she had never lived. I think
she actually said that she's never had a boyfriend.
And she had never lived in moved in with somebody she was in a serious relationship with. So that was one thing. And then another thing was the boyfriend thing. And so it was kind of like, okay. And she says, your body language changed. And I was like, of course the poor guy's body language changed. Like, you just threw something really, really big at him. And he has to have time to process this so that he can have questions for you. And so I think that one was, like, I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big step. Now, I said it doesn't mean it has to be a bad thing. Because if she hasn't been out of a lot of relationships like that, or especially with guys, like, she may be more willing to fight for a relationship. And she's learning, and so you're learning together.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. So let's see. Okay, so then we go to Paul and Callie. And Callie had left the episode before she went to talk to her mom. And so
Go ahead.
When we come back in, she wants to talk to her mom because she talks about her mom being her best friend and everything. And so she wanted to get her idea. Her mom was kind of like, I think you need to rethink this. Because it was a lot. And it sounded like she'd been talking to her mom about it. And they weren't quite sure how many children he had. Then, so she thinks about it. She dials him back up. She says, I'm coming. So he gets really excited. He has the 4 kids go over to the neighbor's house to meet her. And he had a ton of questions going through his mind. And it was really cute because he was really nervous about meeting her. He meets her at the airport and picks her up. And he had planned for the kids to go over there so that she didn't feel so ambushed at first. And they could talk and spend some alone time. And when they get to the house, he gives her his room. Which makes sense. Like, you're 99.9% not going to have a spare chance you're going to have a spare room with 4 kids and yourself. So, and then she really liked that and appreciated that. And then, but he had a lot of questions because he said, like, are my kids going to like her? Am I going to like her? Is she going to like them? You know, are we all going to work out? Okay, so then they don't actually talk very long before she asks where the kids are. So he calls the neighbor sends them over. It's a little kind of, everybody's a little nervous at first to meet her. And then the little girls just walk up and say, can you braid my hair?
No.
And then it was like, that just was the icebreaker.
Yeah, the icebreaker.
Because then she talks about taking them out to go get their nails done, and then the girls really pick on that, and she starts joking with the son, like, I could take you, but I don't think you're going to enjoy it, and he was like, no. So that really seemed to break the ice for them. And then towards the end, he wants to kiss her, and he talks about wanting to kiss her. And it looks like they're in a closet. And he asked permission, which I thought was really respectful. And she said it's awkward, and it's almost sounded like he was going to get rejected. But then they kissed, and they pretty much looked like they were about to make out. So
yeah,
I was like, well, apparently that was good. So then we have Denise and John, and before Denise came in, John had like colors and stuff, and him and Elijah made her like a card, and they had flowers. So that was really cute, and you could tell Elijah was excited. And then she comes in, or she comes up to the door, and I liked how she talked to him, and then she came down to Elijah's level and talked to him. I was like, man, this person has experience with kids to be able to talk to both of them. And in the first time we met her, she had talked about the fort with him. And so she goes in the house, and they show her room and all that. And he gives her the flower and the card, and so it's really cute. And then she kind of just jumps right in. And she talks about, or the tent, I think they called it a tent. And she talks about the tent, and then Elijah gets upset because he can't build the way he wants to build it. And
yeah, they were wanting to build it the normal way that they've built it in the past, him and his dad. And
he wanted it bigger.
He wanted it bigger or something different, to do it a different way. And it may have been that, he may have been tired, or, So he started getting a little grumpy.
Yeah, and he did John did tell her, he's like, this is, he needs to be, normally he's taking a nap. But he said that, she was a pretty girl, but when he found her to be beautiful when she was with his son. And she hit it right away. And then when Elijah has a meltdown, because clearly he's young and he's tired, he goes right to business. Like, okay, this is ended. It's time for me to go talk to you. You're going to have a timeout. And I really like that too. It's like, yes, we're in the middle of, having fun and stuff, but when you have to have a kid-parent time, like, he was like, okay, like, it's time to go have some kid and parent time. And so they went up. And I really like that about him. He wasn't afraid to correct the behavior. And you could tell Elijah was excited, but he was probably also should have had he needed his nap or needed a break. So I really like that. I really like that she hit it off so well with him.
Yeah.
It was really cute.
Yeah, it was. I think that's really good.
So I think we had a great episode. I'm excited about next week because Jake comes back. This whole episode, Jake wasn't on there. Yeah. So that one's going to be interesting.
He got the little break at the end of it.
Yeah. But I think it was because last week it was so hard on him.
Maybe so.
Because of the whole late night not coming home thing. Yeah. So.
We shall see.
There's going to be a lot going on next week, especially it looks like with Callie and Paul because of what the son says to her. Oh, I think it was the son. I think it's the son that says something to her. I'd have to rewatch the commercial, but the son says something about like needing a mom figure, and I think that's maybe what sets off that.
Yeah.
Comment of do you want a partner, or do you just want a mom for your kids? So it should be interesting.
Should be very good next week too. It's very interesting episodes. I mean, the dads and their situations and doing what they do.
Because they all do it a little bit different, which is realistic, Yeah. All your kids have different personalities and stuff. So far we've been enjoying it. So, we'll see you guys later.